If you're only having fun while you're training, we need to talk. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Magali. If this is your first video of mine, I'm a personal trainer. On this channel, I talk all about topics related to weight loss, building muscle, learning how to live a healthier lifestyle, how to work out, with just my goal to be the resource that I wish that I had when I was just starting out. If you enjoy that type of content, then do subscribe to the channel below so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. I also have lots of videos already uploaded. Go ahead and check that out. Also, like the video to let me and the YouTube algorithm know that you guys want to see more unpopular opinion videos like these. They're my favorite to make, to be honest with you, so I'd love to make more if you guys want to see more. And without further ado, let's talk about why you cannot be having fun while you train. There's this lie that we have been fed that movement should be fun and it should feel good and it should add energy to your life and it should reduce stress, and I kind of semi-agree with that, but also I disagree. If you love working out and you walk out of your sessions loving life and in a great mood all the time, you're doing it wrong. It typically means that you're switching things up a lot, you're doing what feels good in the moment, you're more concerned with keeping it interesting and fun and light, rather than what gets results. Now, before I get into this, I obviously don't mean you should be dreading your sessions and dreading your workouts and hate every second of it and 24/7. No, of course not. But to see results, to build muscle, to gain strength in the gym, we need repetition. We need to practice the same things over and over and over again. And we need to do that with enough intensity. That's what building muscle and getting stronger in the gym basically comes down to. It's the repetition, the monotony of the same thing over and over and over and over. Practicing the same skills. To learn how to properly recruit our muscles, to learn how to properly execute workouts. Again, the only way you can do that is if you're doing the same things over and over again. This is not fun. It gets boring. It is not the sexy side of training. But that is what gets us really good results. When you train intense and you're taking those lifts to near failure, meaning you don't want to actually fail, but you want to get very close to like 1 or 2 reps more and the weight would fall on you. Like, that's how intense we need to be going to build muscle effectively. When you're in the process of doing that, your body thinks you're dying. That is literally what that heart rate elevation means, the increase in blood pressure, the sweating. Your body physically believes it is under attack. You think it's gonna let you feel good about that? You think it's gonna make it a pleasant experience to experience that? Of course not, because it's trying to get you out of there. It thinks a tiger is chasing you. No, you're just lifting some weights. The feeling of it is not pleasant. Of course, there is such a thing as going too hard. Like I said, we don't want to physically fail our lifts and have the weight fall on us and get injured, because when you get close to failure, technique breakdown can happen, and of course that increases the risk for injury. There is such a thing as too much. But I think our problem is not that, it's too little. If you ask anyone who has achieved really good results in the gym and looks pretty good and is relatively strong, and you basically admire their physique in some way or another, they're gonna say some sort of answer like this: focus on the basics, lift weights over time, get stronger over time, and just focus on doing a little bit better every time. Almost every single one of them is gonna say about the same answer. I'm gonna say that. Why is this the annoying advice that everyone says? Because it's true. Muscles are designed to allow us to do different movements. One of the main functions of your quads, the muscles in the front of your leg and your thighs, is to stand you up from a seated position to a standing position. So what movement does that mimic the most? A squat. If you want to build really good quads, you're going to have to squat with enough weight to challenge the muscle. And that is one of the best exercises you can do for the quads, because it's literally designed to stand you up. If you want to build really great glutes, it hip extends, meaning it brings your hips from bent to straight. What movements mimic that? Romanians, hip thrust, hyperextensions. If you want to build really great glutes, you gotta work with what the glutes do. The basic movements that humans do. Hip extension, hip thrust, and RDL with enough weight. Put your glutes under some torture and they're gonna grow. You do this with every muscle group that you're interested in growing enough times. Again, it's gonna get repetitive. Like, there's only so many ways you can hip thrust. You can do variations, but a hip thrust is a hip thrust. A squat is a squat. A leg press is a leg press. Like, the same things over and over and over again. And with that, and combine that with training really hard, It's just not going to be fun all the time. In fact, most of the time, it should not be fun. If it's fun most of the time, either you're not training hard enough or you're switching shit up way too often. Does that mean you can't have variations though, and you can't sprinkle things in and have fun? You have to do the same routine for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. If you want to try new things and incorporate new tools and try different ways of doing a workout, that's totally fine. And we don't want to be miserable 24/7. I hope that that's not the feeling you're getting from me in this video. Like, yes, of course you want to enjoy it to some extent. Like, yes, of course you want to have fun. Of course you shouldn't be in pain 24/7. But again, most of the issues are not because people are not having enough fun. I think it's because we're not suffering enough. It's not fun to hear about, yeah, if you want to grow really great glutes, you're going to have to hip thrust, lunge, squat really hard for months and months and months and months and years and years and years. Not exciting, not sexy, I know. But it's the truth. But if you're somebody who's like, I'm okay with that, I like to switch things up, but I still want to build muscle, like, is it really lost cause for me? Is there no hope? No, of course not. If you're somebody who gets bored extremely fast and you just cannot do the same routine for more than you have to, I would recommend just stick to the same program for at least 4 to 8 weeks if you're a beginner, longer, because you need to practice those skills. You need to refine your technique. You have to really get good at what you're doing, so then you can switch things out every few weeks or so. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's a method that I use with my clients because, of course, we're not going to do the exact same routine for months and months and months on end with no variation. Like, that's insanely boring. It would be extremely dreadful, and then you would not do it at all. But we're going to squat, we're going to lunge, we're going to hip thrust, we're going to Romanian deadlift. It's just exactly how we do it might switch from month to month. You don't want to be doing that on a weekly basis. You don't want to be doing that from one session to the next. There has to be a level of consistency. There has to be a level of repetition. And you don't want to switch your routine sooner than 4 weeks. Ideally 6 to 8 weeks, where like what you do on Monday, you repeat every Monday, exactly the same exercise order, the exact same exercise, just focusing on doing more weight or more reps over time. That's what grows the muscle in the most effective way. And if you're somebody who doesn't get bothered by repetition, don't switch your routine if you don't have to. As long as you're not plateauing, it's not causing you pain, it's not causing you excessive discomfort, you don't need to change anything. Just keep focusing on adding more weight and doing more reps over time. But none of this is glamorous. None of this is sexy. None of this is fun per se. Like, if you think about it, when you're trying to build any other type of skill, whether it be knitting, driving, learning how to use a computer, like, you're gonna have to sit your ass down and practice the same stuff over and over, building the foundational things. If you're learning to play music on the piano, you're gonna have to learn the basic keys over and over and over again. And this is just the case with anything that we want to get good at. So if you want to get good at working out, the same applies. I'm sure if you ask anybody who loves knitting and wants to learn how to learn to knit more, that they say, yeah, it's fun 24/7. Like, no, you wouldn't expect that. Training is no different. If you're only having fun in your sessions and you're never feeling like wiped out and you're never really cussing or questioning everything when you're in the middle of your lifts, I highly encourage you to look at where maybe you're having a little too much variety, or maybe you're not pushing yourself enough, or maybe you just need to practice it more. Be okay with a little bit of repetition. Be okay with a little bit of boring, mundane, over and over and over again, and practice it and become really good. And then later on down the line, if you want to switch things out, you can. Now, of course, the exceptions are if it's causing you pain and hurting you, or it's extremely uncomfortable, or you just genuinely despise this way of doing an exercise. Those are totally valid reasons to switch things out. That's totally fine. But I'm talking about the excessive switching program from one day to the next, scrolling on Instagram and doing something different every time. That's where we run into issues, again, because the body just doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't have the ability to adapt and grow in response to our workouts, because they're constantly changing all the time. If you're constantly knitting something new, you're probably not going to knit anything, because you're going to have a bunch of unfinished projects everywhere. That's how our muscles work. So it should not be fun. It should not be enjoyable 24/7. You're probably not training hard enough, and you probably need to be okay with being a little more bored. I'm doing the same workouts that I was doing years ago, just with a slight little tweak based on my performance goals now. But I'm still squatting, I'm still lunging. My clients squat and lunge for years. We're not doing drastically different things ever, because that's not what works. For funsies, once in a while, sure. Go to class once in a while, fine. The long term, the biggest issue is that we're just not getting bored. Where boredom is good. This is where repetition and monotony is good. So that's all I have for you guys today in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and it helped give you a new perspective. If it did, please like the video so that I can make more videos like this. And then if you know anybody who is struggling with this concept or may need this video, I would really appreciate it if you sent it their way. It really does help my channel out when more people watch it. And if you enjoyed it, maybe somebody you know would too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.